everybody, welcome back. It's time to learn our next technique. So if you've been following along, the first video we learned how to do the slip stitch, the single crochet, which was this square. And then the next video we learned how to do a slip stitch, which was this one. So this was a combination of slip stitch and single crochet. Today we are not exactly going to learn a new stitch, but we're going to learn how to use just the front loop or just the back loop of our stitch. So this is our square for today, and it's a little hard to see because it's so dark, so I'm going to use that light pink for the tutorial today. But you can see that it's got kind of this wavy pattern, which is kind of fun, and it's reversible, so it's pretty cool. Okay, so let's learn. Again, I've got a basic acrylic yarn and a size H crochet hook for this project. Make my slip knot, insert my hook. And again, I'm not going to make this the full size of my square. I'm making my square 6 inches by 6 inches, but for the tutorial, and I would recommend practicing a little bit before you start your square, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. So for this one, it's nice if you can do it in groups of 5 stitches. If you can make it 6 inches with 5 stitches, you might want to do that by using a different size yarn hook if it's not ending up quite right. If you can't do it in multiples of 5 stitches, that's okay. But I'm going to start out with a chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, I'll just do 15. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So for my square, I ended up doing 25. It's a little bit small, so it would have been good to do maybe 27, but that's okay. So I've got 25 here. I'm going to start with a row of single crochet, which we already know how to do. And I'm just working in the one side loop, not both loops, just because it's faster. And since I'm going to sew these together, I'm not really worried about what my bottom edge is going to look like. So I'm trusting that you remember that to do a slip stitch, you insert into the hook, or into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both the loops on your hook again. So this is just a normal starting row. We're not doing anything special or fancy here. It's just normal row of single crochet across to get us started. And I did 15 stitches. If you ended up needing to do some extra stitches to make your square the right length, then you wouldn't have even groups of 5. So I'm doing groups of 5 stitches, but if I had an extra stitch on either side, that would be okay, as long as I made sure that I always kept it within the same group. So if I had an extra stitch at the beginning, I'd always have 6 here, 5 here, 5 here, or 6 here, 5 here, 6 here. Just that way the pattern will work out right. Okay, so we're going to chain 1 to turn, just like normal. And now, normally we've been going through both the loops of the chain of the stitch, right, before. Now this time we're going to go through just the front or just the back loop. So the front loop is the loop closest to you, and the back loop is the one behind you. So front loop over here, back loop over here. So I'm going to start by going through just the front loops only. So this is my first stitch. That chain counts as a stitch for that, so I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to go through just the front loop of here. You can see the back loop there, unused behind it. So I've only gone through one loop of that stitch. Then I yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over, and pull through both. So it's a regular single crochet, but instead of going through both loops, I'm only going through the front one. And I want 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to switch and I'm going to go through just the back loop. So I'm going to not do the front loop, just the back loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to switch back to front loops only. So this loop here is the front loop for the stitch I just went through, so I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to make sure I go to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can already see this pattern starting to emerge. So I've got this ridge that shows up on the front from when I went in the back loops and I left the front loops unworked. So it sticks out here in the front. And if I look at the back, So I went through just the front loops here, so I left the back loops on the back side, so you can see there's a little ridge. It's not as prominent as this one, so the front loop and back loop only don't make equal ridges, equal fabrics, so that's something to keep in mind. This back loop being left is much smoother than the front loop being left. So if you want to design your own project, that's something to keep in mind. So let's do the next row. So these last 5 stitches I had done the front loop only, so when we turn, I'm going to turn and do the back loop only. That way I keep all of the ridges on the same side of the fabric to make this wavy pattern. So my chain counts as my first stitch. So here, I'm going to work through the back loop. 1, 2, 3, 4 because I count the chain, 5. Now I'm going to switch to front loops only for 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I'm going to switch to back loops only again. You can see I've gotten to this next set of 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll do a couple more rows so you can really see the pattern start to pop out, but it's already starting to wave a little bit. Chain 1. So now on this side, I just did back loop only, so when I turn around, I'm going to do front loop only, because I want all those ridges on the same side. So my chain, that counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then switch to back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each row, if I had done a back loop the row before, then I'm doing a front loop on this row, so that I keep those extra ridges on the same side of the fabric for that section all the time. So here my ridges are on this side, so I want them to stay on this side, so I'm going to do back loop to keep that ridge in the front, that extra loop. And switch to front loop. Alright, so here you can see this pattern starting to emerge, and it does tend to curl up and wave, so it'd be kind of fun pattern for like a cowl or something. So that is it. That's front loop and back loop single crochet, and you can see now that we've done a few rows that these ones that are popping out more, those are where we had the front loops left when we did back loop crochet, and these smoother ones are the back loops from when we did front loop single crochet on the other side. So 6-inch square, and I'm excited. That'll be your 3rd square. We're well on our way to having a fun blanket that we can make. Use whatever colors you want, of course. 3 squares done. Alright, so don't forget to subscribe to get all the latest videos, and stay tuned. I've got a bonus project coming up that you really only need the stuff you've already learned, plus a little bit of sewing. So you can make this really cool pot holder, the little hangy tab, and all it uses is single crochet, not single crochet, but slip stitch, and front and back loop only. So stay tuned, I'll post that video soon so you can learn how to make your own pot holder. Yay! Happy crocheting!